and we are about to witness one of the greatest scenes in Star Wars history. Woo! This is Darth Vader in his prime, and he is not holding back. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another reaction video, and today we are going to be doing something different. We're going to be rewatching a movie that I've seen before, but it's something from a show that I reacted to, and that is Rogue One, a Star Wars story. The reason why I'm rewatching Rogue One is because since we are now finished with Andor, we're going to be rewatching / reacting to Rogue One and see how different the viewing experience of Rogue One is after watching all of Andor, and it's going to be very interesting to see how different the viewing experience is from now to when I first saw the movie almost 9 years ago, which is crazy to believe that next year Rogue One is turning 10 years old, which is insane because it felt like this movie came out just yesterday, but man, it's crazy to believe Rogue One is turning 10 next year. Like, that's nuts. You know, we're just gonna get this reaction started and we're gonna rewatch / react to Rogue One, a Star Wars story. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And I really love like how, you know, they open up with that and they just skip right into it, as, you know, there's no opening crawl when they did these Star Wars story films. Aw, that's such a dope shot. Galen. And that's young Jyn Erso. This is like the first movie we get to see Mads Mikkelsen play a good guy for once.
He's come for us.
You know what to do.
It's so crazy to see how different Saw looked in the past compared to like what we saw in Andor, which is crazy to believe. And we got mentions of Galen in the final episodes of Andor, because when Cassian was finding out about the Death Star, they were mentioning Galen. Probably the best stormtrooper designs in the Disney era, these Death Troopers. They are so cool. This is our introduction to Orson Krennic in the film, and, you know, we get a lot more depth to the character throughout all of Season 2 of Andor. There's Krennic.
We're this close to providing peace and security for the galaxy.
You're confusing peace with terror.
He's recruiting him to finish the Death Star. And this hits so differently because everything that we saw in Andor when Cassian was on Narkia 5, they were just building the pieces. And he's just basically the one to finish it all.
No, I admire the effort, I really do. Oh, look, here's Lyra back from the dead.
You will never win.
Do it.
Damn. Saw. Yeah, and this is the reason why Jyn was never in Andor. It's because she was in prison all this time. We got to see Kafrene in Andor as well, so it's crazy to believe this was the first appearance of Kafrene in the Star Wars universe. There he is! Cassian Andor, ladies and gentlemen! It's crazy to believe this was his first appearance in Star Wars before his show came out. And this is after the final episode of Andor as well.
They'll leave without me. Easy. You have news from Jeddah. Come on.
This is picking up exactly where the series finale of Andor left off, which is crazy.
My gloves.
Woo!
Troopers down. Section 9.
Are you crazy? I'll never
Really love like how this is picking up from the end of Andor. Going from the final episode of Andor to this, it just hits so differently now. Ooh, damn. Oh, this scene hits so differently now after watching everything that he's been through throughout the 2 seasons and the 5 years leading up to this moment. This is where Saw is.
Is that him?
Hootie.
He looks kind of different.
It's crazy to believe that we saw that same creature in Andor, like, still being loyal to Saw. And this is why Jyn was never in Andor, because she was in an Imperial prison camp for all those years. And, like, we don't see her meet Cassian until this very movie. Woo! K2! Now we're back on Yavin. Now we all know that the surviving characters of Andor, they're all on Yavin now. And this is so different now. Like, after watching Andor, seeing Yavin after, you know, everything that we saw in Andor to this moment is so crazy.
Custody resisting arrest. Imagine if the Imperial authorities had found out who you were.
We got to see him in Andor too.
A known Imperial collaborator in weapons development.
And this was Cassian's mission all along. And here's Mon.
When was the last time you were in contact with your father?
15 years ago.
Any idea where he's been all
Oh man, this scene hits so different now after watching Andor.
I've never had the luxury of political opinions.
When was your last contact with Saw Gerrera?
I really love like how this movie's picking up from the end of Andor already so perfectly.
His own since he broke with the rebellion. His militancy has caused the Alliance a great many problems.
That's all true.
We have no choice now but to try and mend that broken trust.
What does this have to do with my father?
Because he's building the Death Star. Bail! It's so weird seeing like the difference between Benjamin Bratt to Jimmy Smith, since Jimmy Smith didn't come back for Andor, which is so weird. This scene's now feeling so weird after watching the final episode of Andor. But now rewatching this after finishing Andor, now this whole movie feels so different now. It's crazy to believe it took almost 10 years to tell the entire story in the 5 years leading up to this movie.
Forget what you heard in there. There will be no extraction. You find him, you kill him, then and there.
Oh, that scene hits so different now after finishing the show.
Would you like to know the probability of her using it against you? It's high.
You know, it's crazy to believe that, you know, after Andor, it's so sad that Andor had to leave B2EMO behind, but he ended up being with K2 throughout the last season of Andor as well, like within the leading up to this movie, which is crazy. And we do know Bix is alive too, but she's off-world as we saw at the end of Andor.
Deceptions!
There he is.
No, we don't have time for this. I have to speak to Saw Gerrera before it's too late.
There he is. Just like where we last saw him at the end of Andor.
Hey. Sorry, yo.
That's why we never saw Booty in Andor, because he was still with the Empire during those 5 years. This movie really was like how he defected from the Empire to the Rebellion. And we're picking up right where we saw Krennic at the end of Andor to this, which is so insane.
Most unfortunate about the security breach on Jeddah, Director Krennic. After so many setbacks and delays, and
now the Death Star's complete.
We've heard word of rumors circulating through the city.
Yeah, it's so crazy to see how creepy this Tarkin is. They use Peter Cushing's likeness even though he's been gone for so long, you know. It still feels a little off to me. And I think it was a good idea not to include him in Andor, but we got mentions of him which were like perfect, and we know that he caused the whole massacre before the Gorman massacre happened. So seeing this whole scene is like a different experience now.
I will not fail.
Oh. Man, this movie really hits differently now after finishing Andor. Like, they were building the Death Star within the 5 years leading up to this movie, and now, we are now seeing its completion. Like, this is crazy! Now the Death Star's complete. It's crazy to believe that our whole family were part of the Empire, and then they ended up defecting. It's crazy to believe that their mission that they were sent on at the end of the show was to retrieve Jyn, which is so crazy.
It's because of your old friend, Saw Gerrera. He's been attacking the cargo shipments.
What are they bringing in?
They talked about this in the final episodes of Andor as well.
Why they were stripping the temple? Now we know. It's the fuel for the weapon.
Yep, and that was all mentioned in the show.
Doesn't sound so bad to me.
Makes me kind of wish they had B2EMO in this movie, but, you know, he's still on the planet with Bix, and, you know, B2 is protecting her, so, you know, it's very poetic in a way.
Poor Gullet can feel your thoughts.
Oh, that's so creepy. Forgot all about this.
Hope.
Yeah. Rebellions are built on hope.
Oh, that scene hits so different now after watching Andor, because Cassian ended up learning that during the Gorman massacre, and it's very poetic now watching this, and you know, Cassian saying that rebellions are built on hope. You know, it hits so different now because he learned that from that service guy from Gorman during the Gorman massacre.
Tell me you have a backup plan.
Here we go. Woo! Woo!
Get out of there!
Whoa! Damn! Huh.
Did you
Shot the right one.
Me? There are a lot of explosions for two people blending in.
Freeze! Right
Woo!
You're right. I should.
Man, K2 is so nasty. Damn. This White Chariot's one of the coolest characters in the Disney era because even though he's blind, you know, he is a badass. Because with Donnie Yen being such a great fighter and everything, you know, this movie really puts his full prowess on display. Well, his rebels got to them.
Are you kidding me?
Huh.
I'm blind.
Now the Empire's leaving, because we all know what happens next. Because this is when the Death Star launches its first attack.
I'm beginning to think the Force and I have different priorities.
Perhaps, Captain. We've been in worse cages than this one.
And that hits so differently after him believing in the Force during Andor. Like, this scene hits so hard and different now. Oh man, this hits differently now. There's the Death Star, ready to launch its first attack.
An Imperial pilot. I'm gonna kill him. No, wait, come here. No.
That's who Cassian was looking for. And it's crazy that the pilot was Booty all along after watching the show.
I'm the pilot. Good. Now where is Galen Erso?
Oh, this scene hits so differently now. After everything Cassian went through in the final episode of his show, you know, it all comes to this.
There's no better name, and the day is coming soon when it will be unleashed.
Oh, this scene hits so different now.
For Stardust.
Here we go.
One blast to any part of it will destroy the entire station.
Woo!
Units with the reactor module will set off a chain reaction that will destroy the entire station.
That's what's happening now.
Save the dream.
Oh, and this hits so differently. Like Saw's sacrifice after everything that he went through in his story leading up to his death in this movie. So poetic. But damn, seeing this destruction is so insane. Like, look at that. All just from one blast. After everything that the Empire was doing to create the Death Star that we have seen in Andor has been leading to this moment, and it's very poetic. Everything is different now. Like, this is a completely different viewing experience than it was 10 years ago. R.I.P. Saw. My God.
I'll make them for you.
Woo! My God.
Mission target located on Edu. Please advise.
Destroyed.
Oh, this hits so different now. I know I've been peeing myself, but still.
He's rigged a trap inside it. That's why he sent you, to bring that message.
Where is it?
This leads perfectly into A New Hope right here. Because we all know Luke Skywalker was the one to destroy the Death Star.
He's placed a weakness there. He's been hiding it for years. He said, if you can blow the reactor, the module, the whole system goes down.
Yep.
We need to send word to the Alliance.
That's exactly what Luke Skywalker did in A New Hope. Probably one of the most pivotal moments in the entire saga. Now we're all on Edu now.
Watch your right!
Woo.
If you keep going, you'll be right over the shuttle depot! Watch your head!
Damn! Woo!
His weapon was in the sniper configuration.
This is the moment Jin knew that Cassian's mission was to take out her father. That's a long way up. Krennic's here.
And I urge that traitor step forward.
Me and Cassian can't even see. Man. Couldn't do it.
Fire!
Damn! Here they come. The Rebel Alliance has arrived. Woo! Whoa! Ooh. Huh. Woo! Badass mofo.
Some of us live it. I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old.
Yep. And this hits different now after finishing Andor.
Some of us just decided to do something about it.
And this scene hits different. Like him explaining Jin his entire story after what he's been through throughout Andor. You know, this scene just hits different now. And we're on Mustafar, baby. And we know who's about to show up. The greatest villain in all of fiction is here. This fortress. This is different after seeing Obi-Wan, like seeing Vader right in his tank. Oh! Even though we didn't see Vader in Andor, like that was the first show in Star Wars to not feature a Force user. Once Vader shows up in this movie, it just takes the movie to a whole new level.
The Senate has been informed that Jeddah was destroyed in a mine.
And this was the movie that Vader found out about the Death Star before we see him in the original movie.
So I'm still in command? You'll speak to the Emperor about
Ah. We're seeing Vader in his prime right here.
Be careful not to choke on your aspirations, Director.
Woo!
We must scatter the fleet. We have no recourse but to surrender.
This is crazy how we saw some of these characters in the final episode of Andor.
My father gave his life so that we may have a chance to defeat this.
He did! And that applies to Luthen too!
We need to capture the Death Star plans if there's any hope of destroying it.
And this is what leads into the original movie.
Without the full support of the Council, the odds are too great.
Oh, this scene hits so different now. After everything that transpired in Andor to this moment right here, complete insanity.
You don't look happy.
There's the mention of Hera, if you know, can hear well.
Well done terrible things on behalf of the rebellion.
Yep, that's what we saw in Andor. Especially him, since they met on Narkia 5.
Everything I did for the rebellion.
Yep! And this scene hits different now!
Something I wanted to forget. For myself, it was for a cause that I believed in.
And that's what we saw in Andor. Like Cassian's explained to Jin all of his adventures that we saw in Andor. And this scene right here, it hits different now. Now they're off. We just saw Chopper.
May the Force be with us.
Rogue? Rogue One.
One? There is no Rogue One.
Well, there is now.
There's the name of the movie.
I must return to Alderaan to inform my people that there will be no peace.
Yep, and this was the last time we saw Bail Organa in Star Wars. After what happened in A New Hope, Alderaan gets destroyed and Leia sees it all.
During the Clone Wars. Lived in hiding since the Emperor's purge. Yes, I will send for him.
You will need someone you can trust.
And I love like how this movie mentions the Clone Wars. And here we are. We are on Scarif. Yo, the visuals in this movie are so insane. Seeing that force shield is insanity. And we are about to witness one of the most pivotal moments in Star Wars history. The stealing of the Death Star plans. And this right here leads directly into A New Hope.
Ready?
Here we go. And fun fact, this scene right here is inspired by Saving Private Ryan. Like, if you've seen Saving Private Ryan, seen the first 20 minutes of that movie, that whole 20-minute sequence inspired this scene right here. Now we're about to steal the Death Star plans. Woo! There we go. The Battle of Scarif's about to begin.
Light it up.
Oh, here we go! Woo!
Blind! Deploy the garrison!
Oh, here we go. The Battle of Scarif has begun. Woo! Here comes the Death Star.
The original plans for this station are kept there, are they not? Prepare for the jump to hyperspace and inform Lord Vader.
This scene right here perfectly sets up the original right here.
Can I help you? That won't be necessary.
Senator! Senator!
There's Chopper. There they go.
May the Force be with you.
R2 and 3PO! Man, it was crazy to see that they were on Scarif from right where we see them in A New Hope. So crazy. Now they're about to get the plans of the Death Star.
Hey! What? Run!
Walkers. Here they come!
Get Admiral Gordon immediately! Director, the rebel fleet is amassing outside the shield.
We know the Ghost is there too.
Lock down the base. Lock it down.
And close the shield.
We know Hera was part of this battle too.
They've locked down the base. They've closed the shield gate.
What does that mean?
They're all alone.
We trapped?
We could transmit the plans to the rebel fleet.
That's exactly what they do. Ooh. That did nothing.
Look!
Here they come.
Sir, enemy fighters coming in.
Probably one of the best space battles in all of the Disney era of Star Wars.
Where is it?
U-Wings reinforce those troops on the beach.
All fighters on main.
Like, this whole battle is basically one of the best moments in the entire Disney era of Star Wars. There it is. The plans for the Death Star. They got it.
Okay. Goodbye.
Oh. Damn.
We're going down!
Let's stop him. Oh. Whoa.
You okay?
They got the plans. We all know what happens next. Woo! Now all this hits so differently now after finishing Andor. Like, all these characters made the ultimate sacrifice, as we saw in the original movie with Luke, Han, and Leia basically blowing up the Death Star. And now this scene hits so different now. Did it. Oh man. Seeing all these characters making the ultimate sacrifice for what we see in the original trilogy, now this entire movie feels so different now.
Stand by, Rogue One. We're on it.
This is for you, Galen.
And their sacrifice was very pivotal to the story of Star Wars. He knew this was the end. Woo! Woo! Now they're transmitting the Death Star plans. Woo!
On the other hand, die with the rebellion.
Woo! There it goes.
Admiral, receiving transmission from Scarif.
They got the Death Star plans.
She did it.
They got him.
Sir, we're detecting a massive object emerging from hyperspace.
The Death Star. Oh man, this moment hits so different now. Vader! He was too late. Oh! Now this scene hits so differently now, especially with how Andor ended, when it was revealed that Bix had a kid with Cassian. And this is the moment that Cassian knew he was never going to see Bix again, and his child. Oh!
Yes, my lord.
Oh. Oh. Whew. Wow. They all died to get the Death Star plans, and basically this is a very poetic way to how it leads into A New Hope. Oh.
Let's go! We gotta go now!
They got the plans. Oh. And we are about to witness one of the greatest scenes in Star Wars history. Whew. This is Darth Vader in his prime, and he is not holding back. What a great way to lead into A New Hope.
Your Highness, the transmission we received.
Leia.
What is it they've sent us?
Hope.
Wow. Whew. This movie hits so different now after watching Andor. Wow. Whew. What a great end to Cassian Andor's story. Alright, so that was my reaction to Rogue One after finishing Andor, and man, all I gotta say is this movie hits so different now after seeing it 9 years ago, and it's crazy to believe like how Andor, Rogue One, and the original trilogy have told one cohesive story, and all I gotta say is wow. It's very poetic in a way, and just seeing this movie from a new perspective after finishing Andor, like it all hits different now. And you know, some of the surviving characters that we saw at the end of Andor, we know they were on Yavin, but we did not see them in this movie. But after everything that they went through and all the people who were lost to get the plans to the Death Star, and seeing Luke Skywalker, Leia Organa, and Han Solo basically be the ones to destroy the Death Star, like this will go down as one of the most poetic stories we're going to be seeing in all of Star Wars. And seeing Andor, Rogue One, and the original trilogy being like this big cohesive story about how the rebellion defeated the Empire, you know, is very poetic. And, you know, this will go down as probably the greatest storytelling in all of Star Wars. Watching this movie was something very special after finishing all of Andor. And basically everything Cassian went through in his show leading up to when we first meet him 9 years ago in Rogue One. Now basically everything now makes sense, as this movie did a good job leading us into A New Hope. But after watching Andor and like revisiting this movie and basically seeing what goes down in the original trilogy, it's probably gonna go down as the greatest story in the entire saga. And you know, no one's gonna top this, that's for damn sure. But wow. Whew. I'm so emotional right now, and this was like the perfect ending to Andor, and like how Andor, Rogue One, and the original trilogy basically tell the greatest story ever told in all of fiction. It can't be matched, that's for damn sure. But thank you all so much for being here. If you enjoyed this reaction, leave a like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any future reaction videos. And if you want to see the full reaction, it's uncut over on my Patreon. The link's in the description down below. I just want to say thank you all so much for being here, and until the next reaction, I will see you all soon. Bye.